Hello, hello, and welcome to another edition of Queen Astro's Tarot. And today we are taking a look at what makes you hot as hell. For example, one of the things that makes me hot as hell is the fact that I came up with an excellent addition to this reading, which I will explain momentarily. Just as I was setting up the camera, I was like, damn, you are hot as hell. Your brain is hot as hell. So just to kind of go off of that, this isn't always going to be, maybe we'll talk a little bit about physical attractiveness, but more than anything, it'll be like your vibe, or what is it about your presence or your personality that people just find so friggin' hot. That makes you hot as H-E double hockey sticks, y'all. Yeah, so let's hop right into it. Pile one. This has the desert rose, which is actually a type of selenite. Pile two, we have the flower agate moon with druzy. So pretty, I hope that I can't, yep, there it is. Pile three, we have obsidian, and it's one of those nice little worry stones. And then pile four, we have an opalite heart, which is also one of the worry stones. Bloop. All right, so again, pile 1, 2, 3, 4. Your pile time will be in the description. And really quickly, I gotta do my spiel. If you're coming back, welcome, thank you for coming back. If you've already subscribed, awesome. If you have not, please take a second to do that. It really helps my channel a lot and helps me do more awesome readings and tell you just how freaking hot you are and just in general hype you up, which you deserve because you do, because you're alive and in this world and it is rough and you're beautiful. All right, so with that, let's get into it, y'all. See you at your pile. Or piles, because you could be hot for a lot of reasons. All right, for real this time, see you at your piles. Hello, hello. If you are here, you picked pile one. And just as I was getting your pile ready, pile one, I realized I never explained the fun thing that I came up with for this reading. So the way this is gonna work is, first I'm gonna take a look at the mineral that brought you here. And then I've got some tarot and an empath activation oracle card to kind of like really look at like the essence of what makes you so friggin' hot. Kind of like, and I hate to use like light and dark, but what's the word? Like fairy tale version of you. But we're very complex. We contain multitudes. So at the very end, I want to pull from the occult tarot, which is made up of demons, to be like, what's like maybe quote unquote the bad party or something. You're like, ooh, that's bad of me, but that's actually like pretty hot. And that isn't to say, to inflict violence or hurt anybody, but like, maybe you, I don't know, it's something cool and hot and bad. I don't know, maybe you ride a motorcycle, maybe you're a badass. I don't know, things like that. But let's hop right into it. So pile one, we have the desert rose, which is actually, I think I said this, a type of selenite. And it's so beautiful. It's a very soft mineral, so you're not supposed to expose it to water or anything because it can change the little grooves on here. And I think that's something that's very alluring about you, pile one, is that you still maintain who you are, right? Even if the desert rose were to erode in some capacity or some grooves were to change or shift, you're still you and you're still beautiful. And I think that is something that people find super, super hot about you, is that no matter what environment you're in or situation you're in, you are able to, and I'm not saying you make yourself smaller, but you're able to go with the flow and keep your head together and still maintain this beauty and this distinct beauty, especially. And desert rose is also one of those low-key powerhouse minerals, because like selenite, it's very clearing. It can aid or amplify any other energies around it. And it also helps us stay grounded. So while you can kind of, like, you're mostly, how do I say this? Like with the desert rose, like you believe what you see, like whatever you see or whatever changes you, like in the physical realm, like that is kind of, like you don't put up with things is what I'm getting. Like it's not so much you're like, oh, I don't believe in, manifestation, or I don't believe in whatever. It's more like, if somebody treats you one way, it's like, or says like, oh, I'm a nice guy. It's like, How about you walk the walk instead of talk the talk, buddy? It's kind of what I'm getting. And that's also very hot, like your ability to set up these boundaries. Very, very cool, pile one. It's very effortless sort of hotness to you I'm getting so far. But let's continue. Why are you hot as HE double hockey sticks? I don't think I said this at the beginning, but I always pre-pull, but I don't pre-look. So is that the phrase I'm looking for? Anyway, point being, it's gonna be a fun surprise for all of us. I'm actually gonna move this back a little bit. All right, let's see. What makes you hot as hell? I don't know why I'm whispering that, but let's see, pile one. You've got the Eight of Swords. Isolation. See, the way I'm reading this is more like people can't get a read on you because the swords are, you know, mental air. And this isolation isn't so much you hiding so much as it is you, how do you say this? There's like an air of mystery around you. And people can't always get a read on you right away, and that intrigues them and makes them think you're very, very hot, 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 pile one. And then, boom, yeah, fortune. Holy smokes, y'all. AKA the Wheel of Fortune. Sorry if you hear my dog's digging in the background. She has to dig her bed before it's perfect to sleep in. Kind of, see, that's what I think. Like you, pile one, you get what you want is kind of what I'm getting. And that's also very hot. And then here we have the Seven of Discs, or the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, which is perseverance. And then the Two of Swords, decisions in reverse. Ooh, I just knocked my light. Yeah, I think, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, because this is how you're hot. But there's this sort of aloofness to you, I feel. And it's not, again, it's not that you don't know what's going on in the world or that you don't care about people or you're apathetic or what have you, but I'm getting the sense that there's this, your ability to just switch into different modes. And not in a, oh, I need to act one way around one person to get what I want. Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that benefits everybody. People find really friggin' hot, pile one. Because you don't, I feel like, get stagnant on decisions. Even though this is reversed, like the way I see it. I just keep scooching them over back and forth. Like, that's interesting too. I don't usually keep moving them back and forth, but like these grooves, I feel like you are very able to transmute as necessary. Pile one. And even with this, I feel like with the Two of Swords in reverse, you have people almost questioning like their viewpoints, or I don't know. Let's keep going with the tarot and see where we're at. I'm going to keep moving these because I keep being told to. And also, I don't know, pile one, there's something very like about you that people find attractive. And again, I don't think it's you being manipulative, like, oh, I'm playing coy and I know how to, you know, femme fatale my way into things, you know, no matter your gender. I think there's a genuine, especially with this fortune card. Yeah, a very genuine joie de vivre about you. Am I saying that correctly? I took German in high school. I don't know. Let's keep going. All right, we've got the King of Wands in reverse, right under isolation. Yeah, that's interesting because, again, I get with the reversal of the King of Wands, there's a mastery about you, but it's subdued, if that makes sense, pile one. That is very, very attractive to people. I'm really quickly going to look in the book just to give you the most nuanced look at this. And as I flip through, if this is resonating with you, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm always curious to hear what's going on with people. And for, oh yes, this is totally me, sort of thing. But it's interesting because I don't feel as intuitive of a read on you, pile one, which again, with this isolation, like some piles, I'm just like, oh, boom, right away. The story just comes to me instantly. But with you, it feels like a puzzle. And that's hot. Quote me on that. You feel like a puzzle, and that's hot. Dang it, why can't I? Okay, here we go. Here we go. I got it, y'all. Don't worry. Yeah, usually in the reverse, it's like arrogance, forcefulness, impulsiveness, but I'm not getting that about you, pile one. Like more than anything, it's people look up to you as a leader and you don't even see yourself as that. So again, with that like sort of, I keep using the word aloof and I feel like there's definitely a better word for it. It'll come to me later because I feel like aloof has a negative connotation or sort of like flighty or head up in the clouds, sort of negative meaning, which I don't think this is that at all, to be clear. Let's keep going, pile one, and see what makes you super, super hot. King of Swords. Wow, a lot of like masculine energy in here too. But what I think, again, under the Wheel of Fortune, or rather just fortune in this one, the King of Swords has this mastered their ability to communicate in a way that is not forceful, but demands to be heard. And I think you have that ability about you. And I think what is like especially attractive about you, pile one, is the fact that since you maybe don't come off like, say you're in a group conversation and about some very niche topic, and you're just kind of on the peripheral listening, and people are arguing back and forth about something, and all of a sudden you just jump in with one sentence and everyone's like, whoa, like you just rock their world. And I think that's kind of what is really hot about you, pile one, is you just have this like instant insight. And people are kind of thrown because it feels like, not like that you're ignoring them, but that you're just, you don't need to prove yourself is what I'm getting, pile one, which is also very, very sexy. Can I say that on here? I'm still learning the rules of YouTube, y'all. And apparently where everything is in this dang book. Thanks for sticking with me as I go through this. I just want to make sure, because with the crow especially, crows I feel like are the sort of, you know, bridge between realms, right? Like a messenger between the spirit and the physical realms, and this sort of instant clarity. Yeah, and again, with the wheel, I feel like it's just like so instant. Like you don't even have to think about it. And it's not like you're guessing, you're just like, I just know this. But let's keep going. Knight of Swords. Yeah. Oh, your mental acuity is just blows people's minds, especially with all these birds. I am such a freak for birds. I love birds so much. They're, you know, pretty much just little baby dinosaurs. Their bones are hollow. Hello, how metal is that? But there's this sort of unassuming quality about you. Like, pile one. And then, wow. Okay. Now it's making a little more sense to me. So remember how when I was talking about this Two of Swords, how you have people kind of questioning what they believed? Boom, right with the death card. Like, you have this ability to just very quickly rock somebody's world. And to you, it's just you talking about what you want to talk about or acting the way you want to act. It's not you trying to impress them or trying to change their mind. It's just you, especially with all the swords, you might be an air sign like Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. But you literally transform people with, like, again, I'm getting that very like, boom, snap. But let's take a look at your Empath Oracle card. This I think will especially be fun for you, pile one, just because so much of your hotness is about your sort of mental capacity and mystery. Right, this is serious. And the cool thing about this deck, if you haven't been here before, is that each of the cards, the art, is meant to activate the energy within you. So if this is hot and it's activating it in you, it'll just get even hotter. If that's even possible, pile one. Interesting. So serious. Oop, did you hear that? I just accidentally hit a bell. So I feel like this is extra important for you, pile one. And you know what's so wild about this, pile one, is this is literally what I was talking about before in terms of changing people's minds. This, again, is about you being the bridge for people in terms of changing their mental paradigm. I want to read something really quickly out of the Empath book, because it's a gorgeous book. I'll link it in the description. But something in here, I was just like, yep, that's it. That makes sense. Because, yeah, the seat of consciousness does not reside in the mind, but many on your planet have become trapped in a false paradigm, believing the mind is the source of inspiration and the architect of your experience. This is not where true inspiration originates. And I think that's something you know, pile one, especially again with that sort of boom, yep, I know it. You're able to tap in to source essentially. And again, I'm getting, especially within the mental realm, like maybe you know, even know things that in theory, quote unquote, you shouldn't know, like, or there's no way in the material realm you would know that. And people just cannot figure you out in that sexy way, if that makes sense. Like they just want to know more about you and how your mind works because you have just completely rocked their world. That's really hot, pile one. That's really hot. But to wrap up, I mean, you're already so hot. I don't know how you can get hotter. It hurts me. But we're going to take a look at the occult tarot just because they're all demons and see if what's like the quote unquote naughty side of you that you should, you know, let out or embrace. You're a coy one, aren't you? I'm gonna take, Seven of Swords. Andromalius returns items and punishes thieves, reveals hidden treasures. Wow, so essentially, and again, this is the Seven of Swords, that mental ability that you have, and reveals hidden treasures. I think what Spirit is saying is to keep rocking people's worlds or reveal that hidden treasure. But also with the Seven of Swords, it's like, own this sort of mystery or intrigue you have. You know, you can be coy about it. If people are, people want to learn genuinely, teach them. But if, you're flirting a little bit and people are just like, wow, how'd you do that? You're like, I don't know. You can keep a little magic for yourself is what I'm hearing with the Seven of Swords. Because you deserve it. And you are friggin' hot, pile one. Definitely let me know. Definitely let me know. Like, I'm speechless because of how hot you are. If this resonated with you in the comments, I'm gonna, the drill. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. It really does mean the world to me. And you know what I heard? If you do that, it makes you like 1 trillion times hotter. So I don't know. That's just what I heard. So maybe try it. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever it is for you, pile one, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello. If you are here, you picked pile 2 with the beautiful flower agate with druzy. Trying to make sure the camera can catch it. Because she's a pretty girl. I don't know why I said it like that. Thanks for hanging with me, y'all. I'm kind of a weirdo. Anyway, pile 2, this is all about what makes you hot as hell. And I realized I did not explain the very hot idea I came up with as I was setting up the camera. So this is the occult tarot. So at the very end of the reading, what I'm going to do is draw from there to kind of see what the quote unquote naughty or devilish or, bad. And I don't mean bad like evil. I mean bad like, ooh, naughty. That you should kind of embrace to further accentuate your hotness, if that is even possible, pile 2. So let's get right into it with the flower agate. And especially with the moon. And it's such a... I keep thinking of the word Renaissance. Like, how in Renaissance paintings, figures were so earthy. Earthy. That's not the word I'm looking for. Like voluptuous and just curvaceous and just the body was celebrated for every curve. And like, it's a very feminine force that I'm sort of feeling with you, pile 2. And flower agate is linked to the heart chakra. So I'm almost getting like flower child vibes from you. This very sort of beautiful and like very genuine too. Not, there's kind of some people are like, oh, they do it for show. That's not you. Like there's a very genuine, giving, feminine energy to you, pile 2, that is very, very hot. But let's keep going and see what makes you hot, pile 2. That's what I'm getting so far. Just very like Topanga Canyon vibes, if that means anything to anyone. And I realized I didn't even tell you how I was going to do this. I picked, or I pre-pull rather, all the cards, but it is a real reveal for all of us, so it's very fun. I think. So you've got the Five of Swords. What? I don't think I've pulled this one before from this deck. That's a manta ray or stingray. It's very cool. Remember, this is what makes you hot as hell. Okay, so there. You've got the Ten of Swords in reverse. Okay. A lot of sword. Pile 1 also had a lot of sword energy. This is interesting. Justice. Ooh, love it. And then the King of Cups. Ah! I just love all these cards. I'll link it in the description. So if I'm just like, oh, every time I see a card, it's just because I think they're all so beautiful. And I think you're beautiful too, pile 2. Actually, I think you're hot as HE double hockey sticks. And here's why. Especially with the Five of Swords and the Ten of Swords. As soon as these came out together, I feel like you've been through a lot, pile 2. Especially like emotionally. Maybe cut with words before. Things that you thought were a sure thing, or people told you were a sure thing. Like you've been cut by others in the past. Especially since these are both sea creatures. Like not all the swords in this deck are sea creatures. I feel like it was an emotional wound. Just with all this water, this very deep, dark water, which to me suggests that, you know, you've been through it. But what I also think is interesting is that starfish, I know this one is very impaled, and I'm sorry if you ever felt that you were also in the starfish's position, is they regenerate. So once you take the swords out, yeah, they might, you know, have lost a limb, but a new one's going to grow. And this isn't to say, I want to be clear, you know, it's not like all trauma is good because it helps you grow. That's not what I want to say at all, pile 2. But I think what makes you hot is that you have been through, you know, whatever you've been through. We all go through our own emotional ups and downs, right? Everyone has their heart broken at one point. Everybody is devastated emotionally at some point or another in their lives. And if you haven't been, I don't understand why you're here, why you're at this reading. All right, all joking aside, I feel like you might have a good sense of humor too, pile 2, and that's very, very hot to people. Like, you know how to make fun of situations, but not in a way that redirects attention to yourself, if that makes sense. Like, you know, the people who kind of just make something or like any trauma thing about them. You're not that person, but you know how to make light of it in the appropriate situation. Yeah, in reverse, recovery, escape. So you've escaped from past wounds. And no, you didn't escape unscathed. There's a lot of stress and maybe hostility involved. But you've made it through. Like, there's justice. And the justice might not be that. I think about you, it's not like, oh, you got revenge and people think it's hot that you're like on a Kill Bill sort of mission or anything like that. You know, metaphorically, please don't go on a killing spree, thanks. But that for you, justice isn't about tit for tat. For you, it's about forgiving and moving on. And if necessary, in any situation, making sure that people are held accountable. So for example, if somebody, I don't know, just because it's emotional, say, I'm sorry, this might be triggering. If somebody like ghosted you, say, while you were dating, instead of being like, oh, why did you do that to me? Like, I'm going to get him back. I don't know why I'm saying him. I'm going to get them back or whatever. I'm going to, you know, make them sorry. For you, it's more like, all right, this really sucked. Yeah, I'm upset because I liked them, but I'm going to forgive them and move forward just because holding on to it only hurts me. Whereas in like more serious situations where, you know, if somebody does need to be held accountable for actions that have, you know, been violent or very harmful to others or to yourself even, you're still able to move through grief, which a lot of people get stuck. You're able to move through it, and if need be, take justice in the material world. Does that make sense, pile 2? Like, you're not petty, or if you are petty, you might be like silly petty to your friends, but you're never going to be driven by that energy. And I think people think that's really hot about you, especially with the King of Cups. Like, the way this is like literally like a balancing act and looks so cool doing it, like so collected, just so beautiful. Like the sun, it's funny in this card, the sun isn't bright in this card. what the flamingo is, the King of Cups is. Like, you catch attention. Like, you're brighter than the sun. And if that makes sense. And see, oh, you know what's interesting too? It's almost like this was where you were, and now you kind of like bloop. Like this, these are the murky waters that you've been in, and now look at you. Yeah, that's pretty hot. Okay, let's keep going, pile 2. I'm very intrigued by you. All right, we've got 10 of discs in reverse, and which is establishment. Yeah, like there was something, or even maybe it's that you shake up established things that need to be shaken up. Pile 2. That could also be an energy that I'm getting for some people, that people find really attractive about you. Like, you break down old establishments that people are like, oh, but it's been around for so long. And you're like, yeah, but just because something's been around forever doesn't mean it's good, right? Wow, interesting. 5 of discs right under, in reverse, right under the 10 of swords in reverse. Huh. Ooh, the Empress. Wow, 2. That is very, see, this is what I'm saying though, pile 2, when I was saying you don't necessarily like get revenge in the material world. And that's a maternal, or not maternal, I'm sorry, that feminine energy that you're able to harness, where you are able to not hold on to the anger and like keep it in the subconscious, or, you know, the quote unquote female or feminine, feminine energy, which is like what the subconscious is associated with, I can't even talk, because it would hurt you. And you know that. So you're able to let it go. And I think that's so powerful and so hot. Like, people are like, wow, that guy was really a jerk to you. And now you guys work together and you're acting like everything's chill. And you're like, you know what? I moved past it. Because what good is going to be to fixate? And look at you, you're badass. Huh, and then, wow, interesting. And then the 3 of discs, or the 3 of pentacles in reverse under the King of Cups. Yeah, works. Huh. I'm getting really strong, like, office vibes. Not like the show, but people in your work environment think you're hot, specifically. Pile 2. I don't know how I just got, but especially with all the material things. And the reverse, which is funny. I didn't think I was going to go into this being like, oh, here are specific people who think you are hot. It's just like, oh, these are the attributes that make people think you're hot. But this might not resonate for everybody, but there is something about somebody in your workplace or people, because you're a hottie, being really attracted to you just because of the way you have kind of shaken up establishment. Or, you know, usually the 5 of discs or the 5 of pentacles upright is one of being, you know, left out and in the cold, which is maybe what people would have expected given what you've been through. But you're like, I'm not going to do that. You are very mature emotionally, and that is very, very attractive. Don't underestimate how attractive that is. Seriously, pile 2. I cannot tell you how friggin' hot that is. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at your empath activation. I think this is going to be very interesting too, considering people are, I think you're very hot because of your ability to move forward in such a gracious and beautiful manner, which I think, again, with these 2 major arcana cards, the owl and the lion are very, very beautiful, but they're also both predators, and they're also both very, very good predators. You know when to attack, and that's hot. All right. Wow. See, energetic center of gravity, which is so interesting too, with 5, which is usually a number I associate with like strife or change. And you do have like the 5, and you've got like 10s and 5s, a lot of that energy. And I think, that is so, oh, sorry, I'm just like getting like all goosebumpy because I just love when it all comes together. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Pile 2, you were just so hot because you're like an anomaly. I keep hearing that word, anomaly. And you know, yes, because even though you have this mental ability and this mental clarity, you are also able to keep yourself in the physical realm, which is great, because guess what? That's why we're here. You know, we're not here to be just mental beings. And your ability to kind of reconnect and recenter yourself, even in the most trying of situations, is really freaking hot. Like, maybe you're even in like a very high stress work environment, but maybe that's you know, I don't want to advocate for hustle culture, grind, or, you know, work until you die. Like, but I do know that some people, they just love that energy. Like, it just gets them off. And like, maybe you're one of those people, but like, you work hard and you go through some like SHIT, if you will, pile two, but you're so hot because you, at the end of the day, you're like, you can leave whatever stress at the door and, you know, with your partner, just be like, maybe, you know, vent for 5 minutes, but then move on and be like, oh yeah, you're my partner. I'm so freaking happy that I get to have you and you get to have me. You know what I mean? Like, you're able to be very present and grounded, even when there is chaos around you. And that is honestly a rarer and rarer commodity, pile two, as we all slowly but surely shrink our attention spans to milliseconds in the realm of content. So I think that is super freaking hot. Yeah, that's very cool. Like, I'm getting very like Taurus, very earthy vibes from you. Somebody who also like takes like really good care of their home and is very welcoming. That's very hot again, because sometimes that can be hard for a lot of people, you know, if they're working and they're exhausted, you know, dishes pile up or whatever. But you keep it together, and that is very, very attractive. Yeah, but pile two, just to, I don't know if you can get hotter, because it's just like such a comforting, and not like a, oh, in a teddy bear way, just like in a, I feel safe with you because I know you'll get us through this shit. And again, that is hot. Like, we all want love and security at the end of the day. So how could it be hotter than that, y'all? Come on, pal two. So yes, to close this out, we're going to look at what is like the quote unquote naughty or, you know, demon or devilish side of you that is hot and that you should, you know, which freak flag you should let fly. Pile two. Oop, this guy. You got the Queen of Wands, Paimon. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Paimon, well, I don't want to, well, spoiler alert, this movie came out like 6 years ago. Hereditary, isn't this a demon that they are summoning? Anyway, if I'm wrong, let me know. But Queen of Wands, again, that very feminine energy. And look at this. Yeah, can make any man subject to one's demands, gives good familiars, teaches arts and sciences, tells anything one desires to know. And so again, I don't think that's like you fluff people's egos. I think, especially with the camel, it's like they can go forever. Well, not forever, but you know, a long ass time without water or rest. And that's kind of how you are too. But with the Queen of Wands, it's like a passion about you. But again, you're seated. You're not like running around like a chicken with its head cut off. There's a groundedness about you that is very, very hot, pile two. So own that. Own the steadiness, because it is freaking hot, okay? That concludes your reading. Please let me know in the comments if that resonated with you. Yeah, I'm just getting very, like, lumberjack who cuts their own wood. Like, you know how to take care of people and yourself, which is very hot, pile two. Yes, let me know if that resonates in the comments. If you can, please like, comment, share, subscribe. I really appreciate the little energy exchange. You are super hot, pile two. Don't ever forget it. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening, morning, whatever time of day it is. And I will see you next time. All right. Bye, hotties. Hello, hello. If you are here, you picked pile three. And this is the tarot reading about what makes you hot as H-E double hockey sticks. I don't know why I keep spelling it out like that, but I think it's funny. Anyway, I realized I did not explain the hot idea I came up with while getting the camera ready, and the hot idea is at the very end of the reading. I'm going to shuffle and pull a card from the occult tarot, because they're all demons, to take a look at what quote unquote naughty or devilish, or, you know, I don't want to use the word bad, but, you know, bad with a wink aspect of yourself that is super hot that you should, you know, either lean into or explore. All right, well, we're going to start first with the stone you chose, which is the Black Obsidian Worry Stone. And obsidian is a very protective stone. It's a very grounding stone. That's why I love this as a worry stone. Like, I always just feel instantly grounded, and I feel like you do that with people too, pile three. It's funny I said that because pile 2 had a similar energy in terms of people feeling safe. So maybe something to check out after this or before this, you know, whatever you want. But what I also think is very interesting about the obsidian is people use it to scry or to, you know, do divination, just because you can't really see into it, right? It's black. And I think there's a lot of mystery to you, pile 3, that is very, very hot. Like people look at you and maybe they see like a little bit of themselves even in you because of the reflectiveness, but there's just something they want to know even more. To quote it, Paris Hilton, that's hot. Wow, I should definitely probably put her, no, I won't put her on the, sorry, this is just me thinking about the thumbnail now. Let's see what makes you hot as hell, pile 3, and let me know, should I start putting Paris Hilton on my thumbnails? Let me know in the comments. To give you a breakdown how I'm going to do this, I pre-pulled some tarot. I have not looked at them. We will look at them together, and then we will look at your oracle card from the empath activation deck, which is kind of what I'm thinking of as like complementary to what will be the final pull of like the naughty side of you that is super, super hot. All right, but let's get to it. Pile 3, you hottie patatis. All right, you've got the Queen of Wands, vibrancy. Yes, I love this card. The universe in reverse. Interesting. Ooh. Yeah, I'm getting very witchy vibes from you, pile 3. Like maybe you practice witchcraft or maybe some sort of magic or into occultism, and that is very hot. 4 of Discs, stability. Huh. So I'm going to move these over a little bit so they're all in frame for you, pile 3, because you deserve to see every bit of why you are hot. And then, ooh, interesting, the Chariot in reverse. You got 2 major arcana in reverse. I will note, though, actually, this deck, the Field Tarot, which I will link in the description, only gives in its guidebook, which is very, very cute, interpretations for the upright card. So the way I've kind of been reading reversals more than anything is as a sort of either muted or delayed energy. But since this is about what makes you hot as hell, with the way I'm kind of reading it so far is with the Queen of Wands, you do have this very feminine, like divine feminine energy to you. I cannot talk. I'm so sorry today, pile 3. I'm tongue-tied because of how friggin' hot you are. But this reminds me of, what's her name? Like the Scarlet Witch in Game of Thrones. Except hopefully you're not like, I mean, I won't spoil anything, but doing the evil things that she did, just in case you haven't watched the show that's a million years old. There's just so much content, pile 3. And I feel like how I'm all over the place right now is kind of how you might come off sometimes. But with this, even in reverse with this universe, it's like things might not make sense outwardly to people, but they do to you. And this isn't like, it's almost like a Luna Lovegood vibe, if that makes sense. And that's like really attractive. Like, I'm not saying you're aloof or, you know, not knowledgeable, pile 3. But I think there's a sort of whimsical passion about you that is very, very attractive. Like just like a playful, almost like giddiness about you. Which I think with this 4 of Discs and stability, I think it makes you even more attractive. That's why I think this universe is in reverse, because usually I think people associate this sort of like free spirit person with somebody who is a little more, you know, go with the flow, which you can be, but at the same time, you got your money right. You know what I mean? Like you got your house in order. You have long-term financial goals. You're not all butterflies and rainbows, pile 3. And I think that sort of duality is very, very attractive. Very, very hot, if you will, pile 3. I do really quickly want to look at the Chariot, how it's interpreted in this book, just to make sure I'm giving you the full nuances, because usually I would read the reverse as sort of, again, like delayed, especially with the Chariot, which is all about, you know, forward movement. But here, again, with the, you've got the black and the white horse, this sort of duality about you that's very attractive. And especially with the moon, which can be, you know, usually about like illusion or deception. I feel like people usually have like a certain idea of you, and then you literally flip it on their head, if that makes sense. And you are ambitious. And I think that does surprise people because, again, I feel like you go off this very sort of like hippy dippy vibe, which pile one also kind of had. But you, I feel like, let me put the next set of tarot down to kind of clarify these, but definitely let me know if this is resonating with you so far in the comments. All right, we've got the Two of Cups in reverse. Little penguins. I'm gonna move these up so you can see them. It's interesting too, because the Queen of Wands is a very independent sort of energy, and the Two of Cups I usually see about, you know, partnership, especially within the emotional realm. And this isn't to say, you're like, I don't need anyone, but you are an independent and you are able to get things done by yourself. And that is very hot, pile three. We got, oh, interesting. A lot of twos in here. Two of Swords in reverse. Okay, let's keep going. Eight, wow, okay. Eight of Swords. Interesting how all these, And then the Page of Cups in reverse. Very interesting, pile three. Very, very interesting. Yeah, so I'm thinking with the Two of Swords in reverse, usually that's about like indecision or impasse. But I feel like for you, because you are an independent person, I think you are able to, more than anything, I think you mediate for a lot of people. You know, whether that's in work or between friendships or helping somebody figure out whether they should do option A or option B. That is something you are really, really great at. And I think here, since this is, you know, the Eight of Swords is usually about like isolation and self-imposed limits, but here, the way I'm reading it, since it's about how you are hot as hell, is more, you are able to remove yourself from situations mentally and give an objective sort of viewpoint when needed. And again, it's not like cold because you've got that vibrancy with the Queen of Wands. It's like very warm and not cutting even though with all these swords, I think it's more of like about the mental acuity. And I think that's very, very attractive to people. Even with the Page of Cups in reverse, which usually, you know, pages are beginners. And with all of these, I believe these are sardines. Let me look in the guidebook really quickly, but I'm pretty sure they're sardines. I think you're able to like separate yourself from the pack. You know, not just go with the flow because that's what everybody else is thinking or, you know, everybody else is saying. You're able to kind of step back and be like, wait, does that make sense? Or am I also feeling like this? Or am I just kind of riding the rage wave or the whatever wave it is, the big feeling waves? Yes, sardines. Oh, I just learned that their oil is used for linoleum. Today I learned. That's in this book. This book is very cool. I will also link this deck because it just has like a lot of fun tidbits about the animals that are very beautifully illustrated. Yeah, I think pile three, especially under the Chariot, for me, it's you understand the, even like, especially like in terms of like what makes you hot, you understand the, how to play the long game, if you will. Like, especially if you're trying to court or be courted, you know that, you know, sometimes going boom right away, like literally showing your cards or being like, really, I'm into you, like, let's be together all the time, you know, to be like, slow and steady, baby, that wins the race. Again, it's this ability to kind of separate and be like, I know, you know, yeah, I'm really excited about this person or whatever. I'm really like crushing on them hard, but you know what? I know they're going to come to me. And I know the way I'm going to do it is by being my hot, passionate self, you know, being able to help others throughout their mental or emotional anguish because I'm able to separate myself from it, not take anything personally or project. I am very, very stable. Ooh. Yeah, good. Very mature energy, pile three. And I mean that in a hot way. Yeah, okay, this is all making sense now. All right, let's take a look at your empath activation card. Whoa, oh, I love this card. You know what's so funny? I'm remembering now when I was drawing these cards, a couple other ones like fell out for pile three and I was just like, I usually don't do this, but I was like, no, that's not right. No, that's not it. Like, I don't know why, but then I remember like seeing the purple and now it's like all coming back to me. And again, I think that makes sense now seeing all these cards together. It's so wild how it makes sense to me. It's, you know, the universe is abundant. You know that you can literally, like this number one, you know, anything is yours and you don't need to rush. And that is God, it is so hot, pile 3, especially when we live in such a world of instant gratification, which you know it's going to be instant, but like, you know how time works. Yeah, dang, that is really hot, pile 3. You are hot. Okay, let's see how can you get hotter? I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know if you can get hotter. As my voice cracks because I'm nervous because of how hot you are. Come here. Maybe this card that's sticking, you know what, this card that's sticking I'm going to take. It is the 2 of Wands. This is like the naughty side you should, like, quote unquote. Sorry if you hear my dog like around in the background. This is like the naughty side that you are supposed to embrace. Eye posts. Just stay, you know, casual ostrich with demon claw hands and duck feet. Tells us that the past and the future can make one intelligent and bold. Also, 22, Master Manifestor, Abundant Universe, like, yeah, kind of, I don't want to say like scare people, but if people are like, how do you do it? Just be bold about it. Be like right here, again, boldness. Be like, I just know I'll get it and I'll get it. And that makes you even hotter. That confidence, that just quiet ability to navigate your way through any situation, pile 3. Damn. You're a hot, hot mystery, pile 3. That does conclude your reading. Please let me know if this resonated in the comments. It definitely came together more towards the end, pile 3, which definitely makes sense because of the obsidian, right? The mystery that I can't. Oh, you hot, hot, hottie. Oh, this was a fun one. I'm just like smiling like a goof right now. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Yeah, definitely let me know in the comments and all that jazz. It makes me so happy to see the comments, and I try to respond as soon as possible. But I will see you next time. In the next reading, you are very hot. You deserve everything. And you know what? You know you can get it. So do it, you hottie. All right. Bye. Hello, hello. If you are here, it's because you picked pile 4. See what makes you hot as HE double hockey sticks. And just crack myself up every time I spell it. You chose the opalite heart. And it's interesting, for the longest time I always thought opalite was a natural stone. And I guess there is a natural opalite stone, but nowadays opalite, if you're hearing that or somebody's selling opalite, it is a man-made, I'm sorry, human-made, I don't want to say crystal, but substance of like glass and metal. But it's meant to mimic opal. But it still has so much power. And I think for you, pile 4, you kind of give off, like, people might see one thing with you at first, but then they see another, if that makes sense. That's kind of what I'm getting with this. And again, like, hot way, if that makes sense. I feel like I've been stumbling through all of these just because as I've been trying to like pick up what's hot about people, I feel like I've just been getting, like, you know how you think somebody's very attractive, you stumble over your words and stuff. I'm like, maybe that's just what's happening right now. Cause I mean, definitely a little bit of a fast talker, but never this jumbly, but every single one of these piles, pile 4, let me tell you, I've just been tripping over my words. And it's cause you're hot. But opalite is also this very like innocent and pure sort of energy. And I think that's something, like, maybe you kind of come off as, I don't like, not superficial, but, you know, more interested in quote unquote shallow things, which, like, whatever the hell you want. Like, anyway, I think people might miss or judge you initially and then see you contain a lot more than they actually realize. And that's what makes you so hot. So you're kind of like a slow burn. But slow burn, a pure slow burn is what I keep hearing, pure slow burn. But let me give you a little insight into how we're gonna look at this reading now, pile 4, as to how you're so hot. This is what I did not explain at the beginning. The hot idea I had was, this is what I'm going to pull from at the very end because it is the occult tarot and they're all demons. So, you know, we're gonna take a general look at with the tarot and the empath activation card, oracle, what makes you hot. And then it's like a little naughty, and we're gonna see, you know, what quote unquote devilish or naughty or quote unquote bad, and I say bad, you know, not in an evil way, element of your personality that makes you hot that maybe you should embrace or explore. All right, so let's hop to it. Pile 4, I have pre-pulled these, but I've not looked at them, so we get to discover how exactly are hot altogether. Hopefully I won't stumble through all of my words. I just can't help it. All right, you got the Ace of Cups in reverse. Yeah, right away, I think this kind of plays off of the people expect one thing. You know, maybe they think you are shallow, like, how can you fill a cup that's upside down sort of thing. But then you really do surprise people and they're like, wait, what? And especially with this deck, what I think is very interesting, most of the backgrounds are very, very dark. And a handful of them, this one being one of them, are a little brighter. Like there are maybe 2 or 3 that are like a yellow or orangey background. And I think this and one other one that are a little brighter blue teal. So again, it's that kind of surprise element that you have that makes you very, very hot pile 4. 7 of Pentacles. Keep going and see. The 4 of Pentacles in reverse. And then the Page of Wands in reverse. See, this is one of the bright cards. How funny, pile 4. And I love how both their little tails are going up, even though they're in reverse. Like, you surprise people. You really, and like in a very delightful way too, pile 4. Because these guys are very silly. You know, you've got the red panda and the otter. But also, I always like to note this with the Ace of Cups. Otters are adorable, but he's holding that chalice like he would a rock, or they would a rock, because they use tools. They can mess you up. Like they use rocks to bash open, I think, clams or, you know, shelled crustaceans to eat them. So they're fierce. And same with the red pandas. Yes, they're adorable, but marsupials will mess you up, dude. They're nocturnal. They will get you. Their teeth are real. So I think there's something about you that seems like very either innocent or naive, or even just kind of what I'm getting is almost like Cher and Clueless, where I forget Paul Rudd's character's name, but you know, the stepbrother's kind of like, oh, she's just an aloof kind of Barbie. She's only concerned about, you know, her looks, but that's not what Cher is about at all. Like, she's a huge heart. She cares so much, even if some ways, you know, might not be the way that other people would say it or present it. That's kind of what I'm getting, pile 4. I'm just really quickly, I want to look up this 7 of Pentacles in the book because it's so, so beautiful. But let me know really quickly if this is resonating with you, just because I am curious. And yeah, I'm getting Cher from Clueless is awesome. Yeah, this results, patience, review. Like, people are very surprised at this sort of, you know, maybe again, you give up that like, la la la, like maybe you're on social media just like posting goofy stuff with filters because you like to do it and it's fun. You know, it's silly. But then people are really surprised when, like, if you're at a party or you're at a social event, and all of a sudden you're talking about, oh yeah, like, well, I've got this put away in my 401k, and I was looking at this yesterday, and you're like, wait, what? Like, there's something about you that's so surprising, that maybe something you've been working on for a long time, so much that it almost feels like second nature to you. Like, why wouldn't you do this? But to other people, again, it's like really, really shocking in the hot way. And especially with the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, like, usually when I view this upright, it can be about stability, sure, but like sometimes I also like view it upright as like a sort of possessiveness or need to control or hold on to things. And in the reverse, I feel like you do have this ability to let go. That is very, very attractive. And that does like almost stabilize you in a way, if that makes sense. Because, you know, if you were to hold on to everything all the time, you wouldn't be very stable, right? Because you can't hold on to everything, because our little brains would explode. You know, no one's meant to hold on to everything all the time. And I think people are just very surprised at the sort of, even like with the crow, this darkness to you, again, in a hot way, that wasn't anticipated. You're fun, pile 4. I see why you are hot and why I was so tripped up on my words. If you're like Alicia Silverstone, and she's a hottie. All right, let's keep going. We got 10 of Wands reverse, or not reverse, I'm sorry, upright. Interesting that I said reverse though. The Moon. Yeah, again, it's this like illusion that like people are like blown away that you like are so grounded. Especially with this figure, they have blue hair, and that's like, you know, so unusual that to pair that sort of idea. Oh, this is, I've not seen this card before. Sorry, I was like staring at it and kind of had it off the side. It's so pretty. I've not seen this card in this deck before, the 8 of Wands. I didn't realize all like little crystals on it. And then, the Tower in reverse. It's so interesting, pile 4, because I feel like most piles have had like some similar through lines, and like I think the biggest through line so far has been this like ability to move past, and not like spiritually bypass or just be like la la la, it didn't happen, but to move forward from burden and from destruction, or you know, from chaos. Sorry, I'm just like, and you've got like, the only energy you're really missing is swords. So I feel like maybe you don't speak up a lot. Like maybe you don't always say what's going on. But there's so much depth to you that, again, really, I think people are really surprised by it. I do really quickly want to look at the book. It's interesting because this deck, the Field Tarot, which, oh, look at the book has the moon on it. It doesn't give reading interpretations for the reversals. So the way I've kind of usually been reading it is either like a delayed or muted sort of aspect of the card, which usually this is about like fast pace, alignment, momentum, dramatic change. And again, that makes sense with the Tower. But in reversal, I feel like your ability to transmute, and I'm almost thinking of like Thanos with the Infinity Stones. I'm not saying you're trying to, you know, destroy the world or the universe or whatever, but you have so many different abilities to literally, like, you can climb, you can be in the water, you can fly, you can burrow. Like, you have so much to you that, again, that just doesn't meet the eye. Even though you are attractive, like I sense like everyone is super hot. To be clear, all of my viewers are super friggin' hot, period. But I'm definitely getting that you are a physically attractive person and a playful person. And again, that's what people like, maybe people think like, oh, they just want to have like a little fun or whatever, and then they get to know you and it's like, damn, like they've been through a lot fast, but they're still able to like build their life and like let go when necessary. Interesting, pile 4. Let's take a look at your empath activation card to see what makes you even hotter, if that's possible. Of course, you've got the unconformity card upside down because it couldn't conform. See, that's what literally, hello, all what it's about. Like, people don't understand, like, it's like does not compute. Like, they see you and then they interact with you, and the duality is just so jarring to them that it's hot. And 22 is a master manifestor number. And again, 2 + 2 is 4. So that stability, it's like that hidden stability to you that is just so friggin' hot. Pile 4. Yeah, and you've got like all these circles too. I'm just like looking at them all together. Like, even the lily pads. I just feel like, yeah, this sounds very like boo, but like boring, but you're well-rounded. And that's like, but and again, that I'm getting that surprise element that's just very hot about you. Pile 4. Yeah, you know what's interesting? I'm looking at really quickly the guidebook that comes with this deck. It's very beautiful. But it says, during this accelerated period of expansion, it is advised that you don't dig in, quote unquote, to any particular position, which, right, like you're able to let things go, which is, you know when to let things go, and that's super hot. Though seemingly paradoxical, know that you are safe, whole, and intact while you're upgrading, converting, and transfiguring. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're like literally like a paradox, and people are just bewildered by you. And even with, so these lilies here are lotus flowers, and lotus flowers, their roots are deep in the mud of, you know, a bog or a pond, and then their little vines go up, and then you've got the lily pad and then the flower. So they really have to, like, this beauty comes out of all this burden, this dirt. And especially with the opalite, it's like, that's not the vibe. People wouldn't guess by looking at you that you've been through what you've been through, or that you know what you know. Or that you're like this playful. Like, how can somebody who's been through all this, like, be this like playful and joyful, but like also like grounded and not, You know, like, again, that paradoxical sort of energy is just very, very hot, pile 4. And no, I don't, to be clear, I don't know why I'm getting clarification. It's not like you're like quote unquote manic pixie dream girl, like especially with this blue hair. I don't know why I'm being called to say that, but it's not that. It's that you know that this is how reality is paradoxical. Like, you know, this is how the world works. And again, not a manic pixie dream girl way, in a way, like a grounded, stable way where you know how to let go of energies. Dang, you're hot, pile 4. I don't know how you can get hotter. Let me know if this resonates with you in the comments. But before we let you go, hotties, let's see what's the naughty or whoop. You got 2 that pulled up, right? So I'm gonna take both. Look at you again. You got pulled 2. There. I can't even talk. The reversed and upright, paradoxical, pile 4. So you got the 7 of Swords and Strength, which is interesting because it's 7, 8. So I almost feel like it's like saying, keep doing what you're doing. And with the 7 of Swords, returns items and punishes thieves, reveals hidden treasures. In reverse, I'm almost saying, I feel like it's saying, don't reveal all your secrets. I forget, I think one of the other piles got this. Interesting. And then with the Strength, builds towers that destroy stone walls, causes rough waters, finds witches. Oh, that's so metal. Strength, fine. I think too, this is like a very warrior vine. Let me put these down. But I think especially when I think of vine, I was just getting, you know, I don't know, for those of you who are into manifesting or not, the idea of, you know, pruning your mental garden or getting rid of unwanted thoughts that, you know, and keeping your garden pure so only the thoughts, the manifestations you want grow. And especially since this demon's name is Vine, Vine's witches, I think it's saying you should step up this sort of ability you have to both be present and to let go, if that makes sense, with manifesting. You know, prune your mental garden, see what else you can bring in. And with it in reverse, the 7 of Swords, I think it's like, keep this to yourself for a little bit. And definitely, like, if you've ever, again, been into manifesting, I don't know, I'm being called to talk to you about this pile 4, but I am. Keeping it to yourself is kind of good for the beginning, just because, you know, if you tell people, I'm trying to manifest $50,000 this month, they're gonna look at you and be like, dude, you make like $1,200 a month right now. How is that even possible? And you'll be like, yeah, you're right. Like, so you're supposed to keep it to yourself, you know, to keep it, again, pureness, cutting the vine, so you can manifest what you want. So I think it's saying, yeah, delve into this, finds witches, delve into some witchy stuff, y'all, if that speaks to you. And if you're like, no, I don't want to do any witchy ritual stuff, I feel like a little more, that's like not really my speed, then keep up with that mental diet, that mental pruning, and keep it to yourself. Like, see what else you can bring in. See what else you can bring that people are going to be like, wait, how did you do that? Because I think that's just going to build even more confidence for yourself. And guess what? Confidence just makes you hot. That's just, those are the rules. But yes, that does conclude your reading, pile 4. Definitely let me know if it resonated in the comments. And if you hotties can take a second of your hot life to please like, comment, share, subscribe. It really, I cannot tell you how much it helps me and the channel grow. And I really enjoy doing these readings. And I really hope that they resonate with you and bring you some clarity or remind you that you're hot, because guess what? You freaking are, pile 4. All right. And with that, I will see you next time. Enjoy your hot lives until then. All right. Bye.